Hey, somebody's got to clean the jackhammer. You did? Excellent. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. You are listening to the Professional Noticer.
Listen carefully.
Here, you and I will use common sense and all the wisdom we can muster to move beyond what is true and go all the way to the truth, creating measurable results for people like you and families like yours. I am the Professional Noticer.
Are you the big chief?
Hello, everyone. I'm Andy Andrews. Hey, thank you for making me a part of your week. While our topics might sometimes seem very wildly, it is because the things you care about most are often greatly affected by the things you care about least. Therefore, we will field questions about business and spiritual issues and popular culture, and occasionally tackle a conundrum like, why are there interstate highways in Hawaii? My purpose here today, and with every show we do, is to play the part of a best friend or coach. I want to help you live the life you would live if all your toughest questions were answered. The Professional Noticer is sponsored this week by growingdeer.com. If you already watch Growing Deer episodes or regularly visit the growingdeer.com website, you already know why the Professional Noticer is a big fan. You know, my boys are 16 and 19 years old, and they're fascinated by every episode. But, you know, you can look and say, well, they love all things outdoors. On the other hand, my wife Polly loves the show too. But she loves all things indoors. So how could this be that both enjoy the show like they do? Probably because growingdeer.com is about so much more than deer. Dr. Grant Woods is a wildlife biologist and hosts every week's program. And man, the stuff he talks about is so interesting. The subjects range from scientific tips about how to generate topsoil over time. And I know that sounds to you like, oh, that might be kind of boring. It's not. I'm telling you, he'll talk about how the buffalo used to go across the prairie and churn it up, and the natural forbs would do that. It's fascinating. And he also will, he might talk about how to keep predators from destroying turkey nests or killing fawns. Go on growingdeer.com and just look around. There's even a show about bow hunting bullfrogs. It's great. Dr. Grant's wife, Tracy, and their daughters, Raleigh and Ray, make frequent appearances, along with regulars Daniel and Clay. And the whole operation is just a great example for us about how a family can work together and play together and support each other. So whether you own land or not, whether you're an outdoor person or not, you will enjoy growingdeer.com. I love the way Dr. Grant ends each episode. He says, so spend some time outdoors this week. Enjoy creation. And take some time to reflect and listen to what the Creator is saying to you. That's growingdeer.com. Yep, observations and answers is what we do here. I deliver the observations, and you provide the questions. Hey, the Professional Noticer now has listeners in 74 countries. So hello to the folks in Zimbabwe, new listeners as of last week. We want to hear your questions, too. If we use your question on an episode of the Professional Noticer, as a thank you, we will send your choice of the Guided Traveler's Experience or the 100-Year Parenting Course. To submit your question, just dial 1-800-726-ANDY or email the Professional Noticer at andyandrews.com. Questions are a critical component of the person you and I aspire to become. Always remember, the quality of your answers can only be determined by the quality of your questions. This week, our first question is from Becky. She's from Indiana. Let's listen.
Hi, Andy. This is Becky in Indiana, and I have a question today. As I've been working on myself and growing my leadership skills and growing as a person and my walk with God and this path that He has for me in this life and how He wants to use me, I have realized that I have a very caring, empathetic personality, and at times that gets me into trouble because I overgive, and it's my part of, where I'm overgiving more than that person is wanting in the relationship or that they want to give back. And then I end up many times then getting hurt from that relationship because I have tended to overgive. One of the things I've noticed in my mentorships in my life, and you are one of those, and I want to thank you for that. You are part of my circle of 5, is that there is a quiet, unshakable spirit that comes across from them. And in my reading of late, one of the themes that I'm seeing is let go of the results. And I am a fixer, and so that also interplays, I think, into these relationships. And so in becoming better at relationships and having healthy relationships where you're really influencing others in a positive way, I would love to get your thoughts on the theme of, or the subject of, letting go of the results as you touch people's lives. Thank you, Andy, for all you do.
Hi, Becky. Thank you for the question. I understand that when you have a very caring and empathetic personality, you listen very carefully to people. You say that you overgive. I understand the concept, okay, because I have seen many times somebody who is so concerned and so giving in a relationship that they almost smother the other person with just like fairy dust. Just like, I just want to give you everything good. I want to give you all the answers. I want to help you. And sometimes, people back away from that. So if you're the person that is in that relationship and you are the person overgiving, I can see how you've ended up getting hurt from that relationship. Now, I'm moving into this part of your question where you talk about a quiet, unshakable spirit and about letting go of the results. If you are a fixer in your life, and I am a fixer. Sometimes I find myself with Polly, and Polly will say, well, I have, this, and, this happened, and I can't believe this is going on. And I, I'll listen, then I'll say, okay, so here's what you do. First thing you need to do is this, and then you need to do this. Then you need to go to that person, do this, then pick up that. And then when you put that in place, then that, and, I can be just, 30 or 40 seconds into it. And I can already tell she's aggravated. And I had to learn, and sometimes I have to relearn this, that sometimes she just wants me to listen. She is not telling me this stuff so I'll give her an answer. She's not telling me this stuff so I'll fix it. I mean, really, and in reality, she knows how to fix it. She knows what to do. She is just wanting to come to her best buddy and vent a little bit. But, I'm a fixer. And so I am kind of created in this way that, I'm scrambling around trying to do this and do this and do this. And sometimes I forget in my closest relationships, I need to slow down and just be quiet and listen. Now, again, as I'm telling you this, I am not telling you that I'm good at this. Okay, I'm just because I know something does not mean that I'm great at it in practice. I'm still learning how to do this, and your question is helping me because it's reminding me that later I'm leaving the office and I'm going home, and I need to remember Becky's question today because when Polly or Austin or Adam starts in about their day, I need not to be looking for the opportunity to jump in and tell them what to do to fix it. I need to just listen. When you talk about letting go of the results as you touch people's lives, Becky, a lot of times when you are dealing with people, there's nothing you can do but let go of the results. In my life, I found I cannot force results in somebody else. Now, I can help, and I can be a person to answer questions. If I see somewhere that I feel like I should jump in, I generally know that I need to jump in with questions, not with commands, not with direction. That worked when my boys were 7 or 8. Okay, but they're 16 and 19 now. I can't just jump in there and tell them what to do all the time. But I can ask questions that will lead them to thought processes of their own. And so when you're talking about letting go of the results, a lot of times that's a process that really has a lot more value to you and probably relaxes the person you're dealing with. There's an old saying that you should never try to teach a pig to sing because it will just make you frustrated and it'll make the pig mad. A lot of times we deal with people, not that they're pigs or anything, but we deal with people that is exactly what happens. We're in a way trying to get this, but we're trying to get results out of this person, and we're getting frustrated, and they're getting mad. So there is a way to let go of those results and still touch people's lives, still be available, still ask good questions to lead their thinking or to secure their thinking. But as a fixer, I know exactly how you feel dealing with this. And it's one of those things that we have to fix. Becky, you and I, if we are fixers, we have to fix that in our own lives. Or at least we have to leash it. We have to hold it back a little bit because there are situations where a fixer is needed. A fixer is needed to jump into, a community, but when you're dealing with people, only God can fix that person. You're not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. We can help a thought process, but we cannot fix them. That's expecting a result that we are demanding. Expecting to create a result that we are imagining for them. And then that's just not going to happen. Okay? All right. Thank you, Becky, for the question. I appreciate it. I am Andy Andrews, the professional noticer. We're harnessing common sense and wisdom to plow through challenges all the way to an answer for you. Our next question is from Michelle in California. Let's listen.
Hi there, Andy. My name is Michelle. I'm currently living in California. I'm seeking advice on being a new stepmother. Sometimes I feel like that I am in it alone. My main support group and my husband's main support group live in Utah. But we have wonderful friends that we have been establishing out here. But when I go to them for stepmothering advice, we don't really get anywhere. All that happens are blanket statements. of like, keep up the great work, you're doing great, good job, which are coming from a sincere place in their heart, but sometimes it's just not really helping. I've been a stepmother for a little less than a year to a beautiful 5-year-old. She's smart and funny and sassy as can be. She's got a loving heart and is very kind. Her mother walked out on her when she was 3. Then my husband's brother moved in for a few months during the summer to help nanny, but he had to leave and go back to school, so his sister came down for a year and was her nanny. When we got married, she left, and so now I'm here. We are struggling with connecting. She calls me mom, but she still says things like, I wish my mommy was here instead, or I wish my aunt was here. You can go home now. I understand that what she is going through is a lot at 5, but how do I build a relationship with words that sting all the time from someone who has a limited vocabulary, who shuts me out because she's scared I am going to leave like others? We have regular conversations about how she's feeling, silly stuff, kindergarten stuff, hopes and dreams. We go to the park and play and cuddle and share lots of hugs and kisses. Maybe this is where I get stuck, but it never feels like enough, and she still says those comments about wishing someone else were here. Thank you for your time.
Hi, Michelle. You have a tough job, but there are answers for the questions you ask. It is a tough job being a stepmother. Being a new stepmother is particularly tough. There's no course for that. You know, your friends and people in California are probably telling you things like keep up the good work and you're doing a great job because they mean it and because they don't know what else to say. They probably, like I say, they mean it. They probably are looking at the situation you have, and for the most part, your 5-year-old stepdaughter is, from what I can tell, your 5-year-old stepdaughter is attempting to find out something about you. All right. Now, I want to skip to the end of your of your message. I want to skip to the end and comment on something you said at the end, and then we'll go back. All right. You talk about going to the park and playing and having regular conversations about how she's feeling, and silly stuff, and hopes and dreams, and you have hugs and kisses, and then you say that's where you get stuck, and it just never feels like enough. Okay, now I'm going to be a little tough here with you, Michelle, but let me cushion the blow. All right, the cushion is this: you're doing great. You're going to the park with her. You're having conversations about how she's feeling. You're playing. You're cuddling. You're hugging. You're kissing. You're doing great. Now that's the cushion. But I got to say that when you say, well, this is where I get stuck, it never feels like enough. Michelle, you're an adult. She's a 5-year-old. She is not responsible, and she's not thinking about it, and you should not feel as though she is responsible for how you feel. I mean, she's not responsible for that. This is a 5-year-old. When you say it never feels like enough, she is not supposed to fill you up, okay? Sometimes kids hurt our feelings. Sometimes kids say the wrong things. Sometimes kids act in the wrong way. Okay, but she's 5. She is not responsible for making you feel like it's enough. Okay, back to her and back to this situation. You say she's a beautiful 5-year-old, she's smart, and she's funny, she's sassy, she's a loving heart. I want you to think about what you said here, that she's smart. Okay, her mother walked out on her. She knows this. She's smart. 3-year-old, 3 is old enough to know you had a mommy and now mommy's not there anymore. Now, one thing you never say is that, whether or not her mom is still in the picture at all. I suspect not, since the brother came and worked there for a while, and then the sister came and was there for a while. I'm assuming the biological mom is not in the picture, but she has some kind of memory of her biological mom. And I want you to be aware that she is aware that her mom, whatever her real mom is, even though she's calling you mom, and you are her real mom now, okay, but this other mom, this mom left. And she's aware of it. And so when she says things like, I wish my mommy was here, even children tend to want things that are not right in front of them, right? A kid can have a room full of toys, and what they want is the one that's up on the shelf. That's that behavior or that tendency is talked about in adults as the grass is always greener syndrome. Right. So she has this mommy right in front of her. You are mommy. She calls you mom. Okay. But even though you're right in front of her, now she's thinking about, I wish her mommy was here instead. Wish my aunt was here. She, her mom was there, and then her mom's no longer there. Her aunt was there, and then her aunt is no longer there. Her uncle was there, and then her uncle is no longer there. This kid's 5. This child has been, in a way, kind of traumatized. And she's smart. You can go home now? That's what she says to you. You can go home now. I wish my mommy was here. I wish my aunt was here. I wish my uncle was here. You can go home now. Michelle, she's testing you. She's testing her world. I wish my mommy was here. I wish my aunt was here. I wish my uncle was here. And you can go home now. So let's see if you leave. You ask, how do you build a relationship? Facing words that sting all the time. But you said, she shuts you out because she's scared you're going to leave, just like those. You're absolutely right. She is. And so for a while, it's going to be a constant process of comforting her and affirming the certainty of your presence in her life. When she says things like, you can go home now, you have the opportunity to say, honey, I am home. This is my home. My home is here with your daddy. I'm your mommy. And you and your dad and me, we are home. So, and I am never, now let me just say something, Michelle. If you tell a child you're never going anywhere, then you can't, okay? This child at 5 has already experienced more abandonment, even though the aunt and the uncle didn't really abandon her. It felt like it to a 5-year-old. Okay, so this 5-year-old has already experienced a feeling of abandonment more than most adults will ever have in their life. And so it's going to take some time. And because she's 5, you're going to have to say this over and over again. But I would, I'm not suspecting any urge on your part to leave, but I am cautioning you to make sure that you are telling the truth to this child. I mean, don't tell her you're going to be there always if you're not going to be, or if you suspect you're not going to be, or things are. I just, at this point, this child is very fragile. This is a very fragile situation because, remember, you're not raising a child. You're raising, you're not trying to raise a great child. You're trying to raise a child who will become a great adult. And right now, if this kind of feeling goes on, she'll be tough to deal with in relationships as an adult if she doesn't get the proper certainty from her mom and dad. And as she is older, you can explain to her that her aunt and her uncle, they didn't leave. They did not leave. They came for a time. They helped for a time, but they didn't leave her. They didn't leave the family. They're still here. They're here anytime she just, and as she grows older, this can be explained and she can understand this. But I want you to understand that this child's her feelings, her understanding are those of a 5-year-old. You are the adult, and right now you're just going to have to tough it out, and you're going to have to be aware that, and I know you are aware, but you're just going to remind yourself that she is 5. And so don't let a 5-year-old hurt your feelings. And I know that people can only hurt their feelings. They can only hurt our feelings if we really love them. And I know you really love this child. And so something inside you just absolutely rolls over when she says something rude. But understand that the things that she's saying that might be perceived as being rude are only because she's scared. And so it sounds to me like you're doing a great job hugging, talking, and so just direct those conversations. And when she says those things, affirm to her that you're not going anywhere, that you are home. This is home, and this is going to be home for the family forever. And this is it. This is the last big change that she's going to have to make, for a while. And have fun with this, because one day you will look back at those pictures, when you're there at her rehearsal party and she's about to get married, and she's just a well-adjusted, wonderful young lady about to get married to a guy that you love, and you and her husband will be sitting around the rehearsal party, and you'll be telling stories and showing pictures of her when she was little. And you'll remind her, remember one time you told me, you can go home. You can go home now. And so some of those things will be funny. I know they hurt now, but some of them will end up being great stories that you tell at a later date. Have fun with this, Michelle. And I am proud that you are taking on this role in raising this girl into what she is going to become. She is smart, she's sassy, she's funny. Sounds like she's going to be an awesome adult. I'm Andy Andrews, the professional noticer. Thank you for your questions, and please send your questions in. Remember, 1-800-726-ANDY, or the professional noticer at andyandrews.com. We'd love to use your question on one of the episode. Huge prizes if we do. And I think that'll do it for this week. Get us out of here, Matthew. So, ladies and gentlemen, and to the boys and girls who aspire to become ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of another episode of the Professional Noticer. In a world where common sense has become a superpower, I'm harnessing the tiny bit of mental energy I have for you, seeking wisdom, making observations, and endeavoring to answer tough questions in a way that will empower your family and your business. I'm Andy Andrews. Until next week, smile while you talk, shake hands with the kids you meet, and make sure you have an answer to the question, where do forest rangers go to get away from it all? And so, until next week, goodbye. This episode of The Professional Noticer was produced by Matt Lippert. The Noticer theme written and performed by Sugarcane Jane. Sheetrock provided by Twinkle and Smoke of Beverly Hills. Additional financial consideration provided by ExtremePerspectives.com. Do you have a hard time looking at disasters in a positive way? ExtremePerspectives.com can shape your thinking in a fashion that allows you to ignore reality and live in a world of rainbows and unicorns. Here are just a few examples of the extreme perspectives that can be created just for you. You haven't gone bankrupt. You just don't have to pay taxes anymore. You haven't been shipwrecked. You're just auditioning for the lead role in the remake of Robinson Crusoe. And you haven't been fired. You've just been promoted to customer. ExtremePerspectives.com will decide for you whether a situation is worth worrying about or not. That's ExtremePerspectives.com. Remember, you haven't been abducted and abused by aliens. You're the lead story on the evening news all over the country.